The Urban Game, Industrialization in England.
Hey guys, so this video is for class on January 13th, which is Monday. So as I mentioned before, we're actually going to be doing something called the Urban Game, where we take a small agricultural village and we sort of grow it out into a big industrialized city, which is what would have happened in England in the late 1700s, early 1800s. So this is the opening, beginning information that you need to be successful in that game. So what's going to happen is, as the slides change, you're going to see some information about life in England in the late 1700s. And then there's going to be some questions to check your understanding. And then once you've got a good handle on the background information, I'm going to explain how the game works so that when you come to class on Monday, you're ready for it. So let's do that.
London, the largest city in England, had a population of 750,000 people in 1750. 3 out of every 4 Englishmen were rural and lived in small villages like this one. The average village was inhabited by about 200 to 400 people.
So this is your first check for understanding, so go ahead and answer this question on a sheet of your own paper. Feel free to pause the video if you'd like for it to stay on your screen longer.
Home life and work life were closely integrated, as most work was done in nearby fields or in the home. Every member of the family worked very hard from sunup to sundown. Even small children had chores. All members of the family slept in the same room and sometimes shared living quarters with the livestock. Sons worked with their fathers farming and tending livestock, while daughters worked with their mothers cleaning or cooking.
Here's your second check for understanding, so feel free to pause the video and answer this question on a sheet of notebook paper.
There was a distinct social class system. Most English were poor farmers. A few were middle class, like the bourgeoisie of France. They lived, for the most part, in London. Still, a small few were aristocrats and usually owned large tracts of land in the English countryside. For both peasants and aristocrats, the soil was the key to the economy. Land was the source of livelihood and well-being. Having enough land to produce adequate food, or to produce enough to sell, or even to rent, was the key to economic survival.
Here's your check for understanding number 3. Go ahead and answer this on a sheet of your own notebook paper.
Villages were connected by a system of dirt roads that became almost impassable during the wet season. As a result, transportation was often slow, and trade beyond the village was not easy. Most English farmers never visited any place further than 25 miles from their birthplace, ever. People made their own food, clothes, furniture, tools, and homes.
And here's your next check for understanding. Go ahead and answer it on a separate sheet of notebook paper. Actually, I just realized that this question is the same as the previous question, so don't answer it. Alright, so moving on.
During the Industrial Revolution, all of this changed. Due to new inventions and sources of power, factories were built, workers moved to cities, and life changed for the average Briton. In order to successfully participate in...
Okay, so I'm going to stop the narration there. So we're actually going to look at these instructions on Monday when we do this game, but what I want you to take away from this is basically how this works is, as you'll see, we're going to start off by creating our own village, and you can see the instructions for creating it here. And then as the game progresses, as you can see on these following slides, we're going to add different things to our village. So here's round 1. You can see we're going to build a canal, a nice large home. After round 2, we're going to build some more houses, we're going to build some land, and so on and so forth. So when you come to class on Monday, you should be ready.
Here you can see examples of the kinds of buildings that you might draw.
So you should be ready to draw some buildings like these and create your own industrialized city. So please make sure after watching this video that you've answered the 3 questions that were embedded in the video, and that you understand that on Monday you're going to be drawing things like this to create your own village and later on industrialized city. Thanks a lot for your attention, and I'll see you guys on Monday.